Is it overkill on the protein? Not enough portions on the plate? Or just a timing misfire? Before you fire up George Foreman's lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine, it helps to get a few basics straight on what works and what doesn't. Preheating the grill usually only takes around 5 minutes, but it's a step a lot of people tend to skip by placing food straight onto cold plates. Doing that can actually backfire. It slows down the cooking process and often leads to uneven doneness or drier results. Even if it feels faster to skip the wait, you typically end up spending that time, or more, trying to fix the outcome anyway. A simple trick is to switch the grill on before you start prepping your ingredients. While it's heating up, you can slice chicken, season burger patties, or chop vegetables. That way, everything is ready to go once the plates are hot. Most models also include an indicator light that signals when the grill has reached the proper cooking temperature, making it easy to know when to start. It might seem logical to reach for a non-stick cooking spray to prevent food from clinging to the grill plates, but that can actually create problems on a George Foreman grill, or any cookware with a non-stick coating. The issue comes from ingredients like lecithin, which is commonly used in aerosol sprays to help the oil dispense evenly. Over time, that residue can accumulate on the surface, gradually undermining the non-stick finish and making the plates more prone to sticking rather than less. Because of that, the user manual for many George Foreman models specifically advises against using aerosol sprays. A better approach is to use a reusable spray bottle filled with regular cooking oil. A light mist on each plate before preheating provides the same non-stick benefit, without the buildup that can come from spray additives. The smoke point is the temperature where an oil starts to break down, burn, and produce visible smoke. That's important because once oil reaches that stage, it can leave a bitter, burnt flavor on your food. It also creates extra smoke indoors, which is definitely not something you want building up in your kitchen. Since most George Foreman grills reach temperatures of about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, the type of oil you choose actually matters. That means it's best to avoid oils and fats with lower smoke points like butter, olive oil, or coconut oil, all of which tend to start smoking around 350 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Instead, options like corn oil, grapeseed oil, or a standard vegetable oil blend are better suited because they can handle higher heat and usually stay stable past 400 degrees Fahrenheit. They also have fairly neutral flavors, so they won't overpower your food while it cooks. If you still want the taste of something like olive oil or butter, a good workaround is to add it after cooking. Drizzling olive oil over vegetables once they're plated or placing a pat of butter on a hot steak while it rests lets the flavor come through without exposing it to high heat.
The George Foreman Evolved Grill. Hope for the hopeless, peace for the broken.
One of the key advantages of a George Foreman grill is its dual plate design, which cooks food from both sides at once, making it possible to get burgers or vegetables done in just a few minutes. But that efficiency depends on giving the food enough space. If the grill is too crowded, that even contact cooking starts to break down. When pieces are packed too tightly together, the top and bottom plates can still make contact, but heat won't circulate as effectively around the sides or between items. That can leave parts of the food undercooked even if the timer says otherwise. If that happens, it's often a sign the grill was overloaded rather than an issue with cooking time. You don't need to cook everything one item at a time, but spacing is important. Each piece should sit with a bit of empty room around it so the heat can work properly. Keeping food from touching or overlapping helps ensure more consistent results across the whole batch. A common issue that can throw off cooking times on a George Foreman grill is placing foods of very different thicknesses on the grill at the same time. Because the upper plate rests directly on whatever is tallest, a thick steak will determine the spacing, leaving smaller items like green beans, onion slices, or thin vegetables, making limited contact with the top surface. The result is uneven cooking, where thicker items may still be working through their center, while thinner pieces are only getting heat from one side. In many cases, this can be avoided by keeping ingredients more uniform in size. For example, carrots can be cut into evenly sized sticks, potatoes into consistent slices or fry-shaped pieces, and burger patties can be portioned and flattened so they match in thickness. For foods that can't really be adjusted, like steak, it usually works better to cook them separately or alongside other items that are similar in size. That way, everything cooks more predictably without one ingredient disrupting the timing of the rest. Getting chicken right on a George Foreman grill can be a bit of a balancing act. Even when a chicken breast doesn't look especially large, it usually isn't evenly thick. There are often thinner edges and a thicker center. That unevenness means the thin parts can finish cooking long before the middle is done. which leaves you stuck choosing between undercooked center or overdone edges. A simple way around this is to reduce the thickness variation before it ever hits the grill. Slicing the breast lengthwise into 2 more even cutlets helps a lot. If the pieces still have uneven spots, using a meat mallet to gently pound them flatter can make the thickness more consistent. Even chicken that already looks fairly even can benefit from a few light taps just to smooth things out. That extra bit of prep pays off. More uniform pieces cook faster and more evenly, which helps keep the chicken juicier and reduces the risk of dry edges. In the end, a few minutes spent prepping often saves time on the grill and improves the final result. This is an easy trap to fall into, especially if you're more familiar with a traditional grill or stovetop pan. With those methods, heat only hits one side at a time, so cooking naturally takes longer since you have to flip the food and finish each side separately. If you're used to chicken breasts needing 5 to 8 minutes per side in a skillet, or burgers staying on the grill for around 10 minutes total, it's tempting to carry those same expectations over. The problem is that a George Foreman grill works differently. Because it cooks from both the top and bottom at the same time, using standard grilling times can quickly lead to overcooked, dry, or even slightly burnt results. To avoid that, it's best to rely on recipes specifically designed for this type of grill, since the timing will already account for the dual-plate cooking. If you're adapting your usual recipes, a good starting point is to roughly cut the cooking time in half. One of the easiest ways to keep a George Foreman grill in good shape is to avoid using metal utensils on the nonstick plates. While metal tools might be fine for traditional grills, they can scratch and damage the coating on nonstick surfaces. Once that layer is compromised, it tends to degrade further over time, which can lead to flaking and uneven cooking areas where food starts sticking unpredictably. A safer approach is to stick with utensils made from wood or silicone. Nylon tools are also an option, but they generally don't tolerate high heat as well, and can become warped, brittle, or even melt with repeated use on hot grill surfaces. Each material has its strengths, though they aren't entirely interchangeable. For instance, silicone spatulas are flexible and great for scraping, but they may not be rigid enough to lift heavier foods cleanly. For sturdier tasks like turning or lifting burgers, a wooden spatula is often the better choice. Later on, silicone tools come in handy again when it's time to clean up, since their flexibility makes it easier to scrape away grease and residue without damaging the nonstick coating.
Soaking, scrubbing, that's life. Was.
Just like metal utensils can damage the grill plates, harsh or abrasive cleaning tools can do the same. It might be tempting to reach for a scouring pad or the rough side of a sponge when food gets stuck on, but that can slowly wear down the nonstick coating. Even some heavy-duty dish soaps designed to break down grease and baked-on residue can be tougher on nonstick surfaces than necessary. While occasional use probably won't ruin the plates, it's better to rely on a mild dish soap for routine cleaning. If a soft sponge isn't quite enough, silicone scrubbers or gentle cleaning brushes are a safer upgrade. They provide extra cleaning power without scratching the surface. Another helpful habit is to remove leftover food while the plates are still slightly warm. Using a wooden or silicone spatula at that stage makes it much easier to lift off residue before it hardens. Once that's done, you're usually left with just a quick wipe down instead of a heavy scrub. Even if you're someone who likes to clean as you cook, it's important to let a George Foreman grill cool down before washing it. Rinsing or submerging hot plates in cold water can cause warping or even cracking due to the sudden temperature change. Since the grill plates can reach temperatures around 400 degrees Fahrenheit, even hot tap water is still significantly cooler, which makes immediate cleaning risky for the material. A better approach is to switch the grill off once the food is done and let it rest while you eat. By the time you've finished your meal, the plates should have cooled enough for safe cleaning. If the grill has removable plates, they can often go into the dishwasher along with your dishes. If not, they should be cool enough at that point to wipe down safely, while also emptying and rinsing the drip tray during regular cleanup. Before storing the grill, it's important to make sure all parts are completely dry. This helps prevent moisture buildup and keeps the appliance in better condition over time.
Fast and easy countertop grilling for her low-fat black bean burgers and veggie kebabs. Down goes the phone, for now at least.
When people think of grilling, they usually picture the usual lineup: steaks, burgers, hot dogs, and maybe a few vegetables like corn, onions, or bell peppers. Those all work well on a George Foreman grill, but they're really just the starting point. Sticking only to classic grill foods can make it feel like you're not fully taking advantage of what the appliance can do. Because of its double plate design, it also functions very well as a kind of indoor panini press. A simple sandwich can be transformed in just a minute or two into something warm and toasted, whether it's turkey, ham, or anything else you like. The same idea applies to grilled cheese, which comes out evenly browned on both sides without needing to flip. Beyond sandwiches, it can also handle foods like sausages, quesadillas, and even creative uses like waffles or cookies, depending on the setup and recipe. In short, a lot of everyday meals can be adapted for the grill with a little experimentation. Trying different foods and techniques can help you get more variety and use out of it than sticking to traditional grilling alone.